This week we're going to hear about how Jesus commanded evil spirits to leave a man and go into a herd of pigs, and how it might have been for somebody who witnessed those events. Well, it gets stranger and stranger, the things this Jesus does. I can't get my head round it all. To be honest, I thought the things I'd heard about this preacher going round healing the sick, raising the dead, and talking in riddles which nobody could understand, I thought it was all rubbish. I thought it was just the Jews thinking they were special and that they had this amazing king who was going to rid them of the Roman occupation, which so upset them. But then he came into my world, and I was truly blown away. You see, I'm not a Jew, so I never expected this Jesus fellow to come anywhere near me and my people. I was a herdsman tending pigs in the Gerasenes, a Gentile area southeast of the Sea of Galilee. The Jews don't usually come anywhere near here. The fact that we keep pigs upsets them for one thing. They regard these lovely animals as unclean. Can't understand it myself. Anyway, early one morning, Jesus himself sailed up to the shore of the lake near where our herd was grazing. I heard later that during the night, when a wild storm had rocked the boat backwards and forwards to the point where all on board were clinging on for dear life, he'd calmed the wind and the waves with just a word. Now that I would like to have seen. But I digress. So Jesus landed, and the first person he came across was old Elon, an old man we all knew to be mad. He'd been possessed by demons for many a year. He lived among the tombs which were at the bottom of the hill where our pigs grazed. He was an odd one for sure, wandering round naked, ranting and raving, but he wouldn't let anyone near him to help him, and he didn't really bother us. We were used to him. So I don't know how he recognised Jesus, but he did. And when he saw him, he fell at his feet. "What do you want with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God?" he shouted at the top of his voice. "I beg you, don't torture me." Jesus, it seems, had commanded the evil spirits to leave Elon. He asked Elon what his name was. "Legion," came the reply. Legion? Where's that come from, I thought. But it seems he answered like this because of the number of demons that had entered into him. Anyway, the demons apparently recognized Jesus and the power he had over them, and they begged him not to send them into the abyss. Now that, I learned, is the name given to the place where Satan and his cronies will be confined on the day of judgment. But then they cried out to Jesus to send them into the pigs instead. Within seconds, the demons left the man and rushed into our herd, which then hurtled down the hillside and into the lake. "No, no, no," I cried. But it was no good. Everyone was lost. Now this I know to be true because I was there. I saw it with my own eyes. I watched in astonishment as every single pig started squealing with a blood-curdling sound I'd not heard before, and then ran headlong down the embankment and into the lake. I was helpless to stop them. I froze in fear. Those pigs were my responsibility. They were my life and my livelihood. What was I going to tell Hillel, my master? The farmer who owned the pigs? How would I tell him that his precious herd was lost? What would I tell my wife when I returned home jobless and staring at a life of poverty ahead? I relived the whole thing over and over again in my mind. I looked over at old Elon again, and he was calm, speaking rationally and sitting at Jesus' feet. I realised then that something had just happened, which was far more significant than the loss of a herd of pigs, or even of my livelihood. I'd witnessed this preacher man carry out a great miracle, the like of which I'd never seen before and was not likely to see ever again. I ran off to tell the people who lived down by the shore. Crowds came out in their hundreds to see for themselves how Elon had been freed from the grip of the demons. But then, when they realized that all the pigs had been lost, they got scared, and they demanded that Jesus go and leave us alone. So he got back into the boat and left. Old Elon begged to go with him, but Jesus said no, and told him to go home and tell everyone what God had done for him. I sat and scratched my head. This man was claiming to be God. Do you know what? I figured there was no other explanation.